Hi guys, my name is lelasophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things interiors, then I have some fun videos for you. Today, two-part series, one for jewelry, one for luxury handbags, my two loves. I'm going to tell you guys how to start a luxury handbag collection. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at lelasophia jewelry. I put out videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and so I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. This was inspired by my dear brother's girlfriend, Lucy. I love you so much. This was like months ago. We went out and we were, popping around to the kind of vintage stores. She was like, how does one start a luxury bag collection? And I said, you don't really find the bags, they find you. It all of a sudden just kind of happens, which I think is primarily true. But then, deductive reasoning, I went down kind of my own path, what I've done, what I think really worked for me, and what didn't work for me as well. And so here are my tips and tricks. Personally, again, all these are totally just my opinions. I think actually the biggest point has to be lifestyle. A bag that works for me might not work for everybody else. For my own examples, I have had many different iterations, right? And especially over the last 3 years, as all of us have changed more than we ever have, regardless of your age. The world shut down for like 2 years during the pandemic, I'm working literally in person constantly, having to factor in work, life kind of balance, and then what bags fit in there. And then we went started working at home, which was crazy, and a lot of us are doing hybrids now, yada. So it's changed a lot more than it normally would have over the last 3 years. But in a way, that will kind of give you a little bit of insight. If your life is kind of settled back, mine has like somewhat settled back, but again, it's still very confusing. When I was working in person, for example, I knew I needed one big bag. I also knew that I wanted a more kind of like going out bag or something I could take to dinner. In hindsight, I now have bags that work for both, as I've been in my like very, again, deductive reasoning, analyzing my whole collection, creating the perfect capsule collection. However, before, I totally had kind of my 2 or 3 bags that worked. I had my Celine Phantom luggage tote that was my work bag. She was my powerhouse girl. I could fit my laptop, my gym clothes, an extra pair of shoes, like the list goes on and on and on. And then I had my Gucci Dionysus, which was a crossbody bag. She was the bag that I would literally put inside of my luggage tote from Celine and then take to go out to whatever. I had the best of both worlds. Nowadays that I'm not working in an office, I work for myself, but I do need to run around more. Sometimes I need to take a laptop, sometimes I need to take a notebook, sometimes I need to be really secure. Figuring out bags that work for those purposes is very personal. Once you find I'm out and about all day, I don't need to bring a laptop, I don't need to bring whatever, a crossbody bag is my thing. That works for so many different people. So many people hate a crossbody bag and need a laptop, but want something that fits over their shoulder. That is going to give us our kind of base level. The next kind of more fun step than the functionality test is, what are your favorite colors and what are your favorite leather materials or materials in general, and finishes. Colors is the easiest and the most fun. I said before in my trends video, which is again deductive reasoning, a lot of that in there. Yes, it's so cool that there's kind of a trend of like figuring out your color scheme. It's also so fun to just experiment. Go to a store. Thank God we have all these incredible places like Rebag, What Goes Around Comes Around, The Real, the list goes on and on and on. Even if you're in a town that doesn't have any of those, go to a thrift store, go anywhere, go to Target. Put some things of different colors against your body. It sounds so stupid, but even if it's like a bucket, put it up against yourself. See, does this color resonate with me? Black and brown is where I shine. Black, brown, gold, beige, nude. That is what I love, and that's what I genuinely think over the years and years and years of my kind of trying to figure out my color vibe, the color family that I want to stick to. I love a good pastel color. I love a good pastel pink. I love a good pastel purple. When I've put those bags against me, just me in particular, because I love them on other people, I don't like them as much. I love the way that a brown bag looks on me, so I figured that out. I took that and I ran with it. You guys don't have to be as crazy as me. I have a primarily beige nude brown colored bag collection that is like the joy of all of my joys. I love it so much, but it can be like 10 different colors. I know someone like Karen Britchick, who I love so much, she loves jewel tones so much and they just work so well for her. It can be 20 different colors. Find those colors that are your colors. And then we can get into materials. I've actually found that I'm not as much of a structured, stiff material bag girl. I owned a Givenchy Horizon bag. Literally, that was the best test to me. I owned it in the size small, in that very like hardy, intense, durable box leather. And then I got it in the size nano, in more of what would be akin to like a Togo leather, soft, buttery, very thick grained. I literally only wore the full grain thicker leather. It was so much butterier. It was much easier to get in and out of. I realized that I just honestly didn't like the structuredness of that really thick, heavy leather. That is just me. I know most people are probably the opposite, but again, something about living in a city, something about living in a place where you're kind of having to literally mold to your environment constantly. I like a bag that almost molds to me. Most recent kind of secondary tier to that is realizing that I really like bags that are very flush to my body, that I can have kind of close up against me. So that being said, for you guys who know my bag collection, I love my Bottega pouches because of that. I realize they really can like mold to my body. I love my Kelly, I love my Dior, Lady Dior bag. They really sit so close to you. And for that reason, I've realized that like I can stick with that pretty much and love that going forward. The next layer of Dante's Inferno, just kidding. The next layer in is, what are your designers? This can be one designer, which I know so many people like Jessie from Jessie Styles really goes one designer at a time. Currently she's on Hermes, but I've seen the different iterations of her collection where she goes really deep into one designer pieces at a time. That's really interesting. I think I've kind of honed in my top 3 with then a bonus one as the 4th. I've totally done that before. The Riccardo Tisci era, as I just said, the Riccardo Tisci Givenchy era, me circa like 7 to 5 years ago, that was my jam. I was an edgy New York City gal. I loved me some Givenchy. I realized those bags did not work as well when I have a dog, when I'm popping around, when I actually need things to fit in more, when I need things to be closer to my body. So my guys, which we already know, let's say it together. I love me some Bottega, The Row, I love Hermes, and I love Celine. Something about kind of like, obviously, yes, it's a trend, but I love a good no logo. I've been loving that for a long time. I love something that's super sleek, super chic. The Givenchy bag that did fit into that category, that was like my origin story, the bag that I've said before, I literally wore until it fell off my body and I had to retire her, was the Nano Pandora bag. Like, all it was just a little flush logo on top, but it was very much so a like, if you know, you know bag. Thinking about it now, it's so similar to the Loewe puzzle bag, very much so that vibe. I just realized that that's kind of the thing that I like. Finding something that you like about either, let's say, the colors that they offer, the quality that they offer, the versatility that they offer. There are designers who specialize more in kind of crossbody bags. There are designers who specialize more in work bags. Find those designers and then you'll just be so happy. It also opens up what I'm about to talk about next, but essentially you can then go onto the pre-loved market or vintage market, and then the floodgates open with even more options for you. This next step has so many benefits, it's not even funny. I know that so many people, I know, as I'm like so pro it over here in my own little mini corner on YouTube, so many people are also so against pre-loved and vintage shopping, because there are a lot of fakes, there's a lot of scams going on. We need to be really careful, take everything I say with a grain of salt, and make sure that you always trust yourself. Find somebody to authenticate it, find third, fourth, however many people to authenticate your bag. Yes, do all those steps, because we only want authentic bags here. I digress. I am a fan of the pre-loved market. I am a huge fan of the vintage market. Buying pre-loved and buying vintage not only makes you feel good in the sustainability aspect of things. Again, that Givenchy Nano Pandora bag I bought for myself 9 years ago as my graduation present, and yes, she was from eBay. I loved her so, so much. Now that I'm talking about her, I want another, but anyways, finding bags that are pre-loved not only are sustainable, they will save you so, so much money. I know pristine bags that have never been touched before, people sell on the pre-loved market for a myriad of reasons. Maybe somebody got it as a gift, maybe somebody didn't like it, maybe somebody got two by accident, who knows the reasons. And those bags will primarily, unless it's Hermes, obviously, different story, different day. Unless it's Hermes, those bags are gonna get knocked down in price as soon as they leave the retailer. One of the best parts that I've personally profited from and benefited from is if you are smart, or if you ask somebody like myself who can absolutely help you in your search for a pre-loved or vintage bag, if you find it at the right price, kind of like watching those trend cycles actually does help so much watching the pre-loved and vintage market, because essentially, like, the short story of the long is if a bag is super, super trendy, don't buy it on the pre-loved market yet. Wait a little while and then the prices will eventually go down. It could be 6 months, it could be 2 years. The pre-loved market is totally a long game, I know, if you don't have the patience for that, but the benefits are that, like, if I have experimented with a bag, if I have bought a bag pre-loved and for whatever reason, it either hasn't worked out or I had my time with it, I loved it so much, I've been able to sell my bags for essentially, like, honestly the same price. Sometimes I've profited, sometimes I've lost just a little bit, but because I brought it pre-loved, I already knew that I was saving so much money, and I really kind of like got back my full investment on the bag. Now that you've done all of those steps, we figured out what works for us personally. We figured out what works for our lifestyle. As I always say, the most important step: fine jewelry, handbags, eyewear, footwear, any type of accessory or clothing that you're gonna be physically wearing or using, wear them. That's like, duh, wear your pieces, you'll figure out yourself, you'll see what you naturally gravitate towards. My mom is such a good example of this. I love you, Mom. She truly, like, you'll know when she loves a bag. There's no denying it, because you'll see that bag every single day. You'll see her wear it and she'll be like, damn, I got all these other bags and I love them so much, but I can't get myself to stop wearing that. Then I say, oh, perfect, now I know what to look for in her next bag, what I can kind of help guide her towards. Wear your pieces. And then once you've worn your pieces, once you know yourself, once you're getting your collection together, we're on our way, we have a couple bags, then you can add in some variety and even add in a wild card, which are some of the most fun bags. Wild cards can go anywhere from something like my Benedetto Brusice Ursula bag, which I'll probably only use a few times over the next like 20 years, but I will use that bag for a wedding, for an evening event, when I want to look sparkly in a photo. She's my wild card bag that I was okay knowing this is a part of my capsule collection, yes, in the evening category, but this is not a bag I'm going to be taking to work. This is not a bag I'm going to be taking to a meeting, but I'm so happy I have her. Same with my Simone Rocha bag. Finding those wild cards are so fun, not only for evening bags or fun photo shoots or something that you're doing. Sometimes those wild card bags become your favorite bag, and then from there, the list starts over again. You realize, holy cow, this bag that I got is like one of the coolest bags ever. My Bottega pouch, I was thinking, like, it's just so pretty. I'd been wanting one for so long. This is like over a year. This is almost 2 years ago when I got my first Bottega bag. I was just like so swooning after them for so long, and then they kind of started getting added to the pre-loved market, you know, mid to peak of Daniel Lee era. I did not know the craziness that would ensue after. I didn't know that the pouches were my thing. I didn't know that I was destined to be a Daniel Lee Bottega girly. I had no idea. That was a wild card that I thought like, oh, how fun. I'll add this. I've saved up some little coins. I love her so much. And then the craziness just went on from there. And those are my most used, most functional bags I own. That has been my list. How to start a luxury bag collection. This is different for everyone. So I'm so excited to hear all of your thoughts down below. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and as always, I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.